Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into an idea that's actually been kicking around for over 60 years, but is suddenly, well, very, very real. Using technology to simulate what entire populations think and feel. Back in 1961, the political scientist V.O. Key Jr. said this, and he really hit the nail on the head. Trying to understand public opinion, it's like trying to grab smoke. It's messy, it's complicated, and it's always changing. But get this, in that very same year, 1961, a company called Simulmatics built a people machine to simulate the entire American electorate for the Kennedy campaign. They called it the A-bomb of the social sciences. Now, all these years later, large language models are turning that old kind of sci-fi dream into a powerful new reality. Okay, let's get into it. So, here's the plan for today. We're going to start with that original people machine, then we'll look at the two main ways we're teaching AI to be human right now. After that, we'll do a quick reality check on how well any of this actually works. And finally, we'll ask the big one. What does this all mean for the future? All right, so how do you actually do this? How do you get an AI that's been trained on basically the entire internet to think and respond like one very specific type of person? Well, it turns out researchers are heading down two pretty different paths to get there. The first approach is called conditioning. You can think of it as giving the AI a role to play, using the knowledge it already has. The second is fine-tuning, and this is different. You're actually retraining the AI with new, specialized data, which fundamentally changes what it knows at its core. Let's tackle conditioning first. Okay, so this first method, conditioning, is what a lot of people call the persona method. And really, it's all about giving the AI a super detailed script, or you could say a mask to wear, that tells it exactly who it's supposed to be. Now, this started out pretty simple, right? You just feed the AI basic info like you are a 45-year-old Republican man from Ohio. But it's gotten way more sophisticated. A method called Anthology gives the AI a rich, detailed life story to work with. And then you have generative agents, which take it even further by creating these deep, interactive personas based on complex, simulated interviews. And this is where it gets really powerful. Instead of just a dry fact like lower income, rural, the AI gets this rich, personal, really emotional story to draw from. And it turns out, giving the AI a better story to tell makes a huge difference in how well it performs. Just look at the numbers. By using these detailed backstories, the Anthology method got up to 18% better at matching real human survey responses compared to just using simpler prompts. So the takeaway here is pretty clear. A more detailed mask leads to a much, much more believable performance. But what if you don't want the AI to just wear a mask? What if you want to fundamentally change what it knows? Well, that brings us to our second method, fine-tuning. Think of it like this. The persona method we just talked about, that's like giving an actor a really detailed script. But fine-tuning, that's like sending the actor to medical school for 6 years so they can actually be the doctor they're supposed to play. You're not just giving it instructions. You are fundamentally updating its core knowledge. So how do researchers do this? Well, they train the AI on massive, high-quality survey datasets. They're feeding it real answers from thousands of real people. One huge project put together a dataset called SubPop, which has over 70,000 pairs of demographic profiles and their actual survey answers. And the result? Absolutely incredible. This method cut down the error between what the AI predicted and what people actually said by up to 46%. It's just so effective because the model isn't guessing based on a description, it's learning the patterns directly from the raw data itself. So, okay, these methods are clearly powerful, and they seem to be getting better at a mind-blowing pace. But how reliable are they really? This is where we need to pump the brakes and have a serious reality check. The single biggest problem, hands down, is algorithmic bias. Remember, these models are trained on human data, all the stuff we've written on the internet. And because of that, they inherit our biases, our stereotypes, and all our blind spots. And sometimes they can amplify them in ways we really don't see coming. Take this study, for example. Researchers found that GPT-4 consistently, systematically underestimated how worried Black Americans are about global warming. It was only when they fed the model extra context about climate beliefs, going beyond just simple demographics, that it started getting closer to the truth.
It just goes to show, even with our best models, we risk creating a seriously distorted mirror of our society.
And this really brings us right back to those same concerns people had in the 1960s. As a couple of researchers, Simmons and Hare, warn, new technologies often have unintended second-order consequences. So what happens when we start using these imperfect, biased simulations to make real-world decisions?
All of this, the incredible power, the huge potential, and the scary peril, it all leads us to the biggest question of all. What does this mean for the future of public opinion? I mean, let's be clear. We now have the ability to build a far more powerful people machine than anyone in 1961 could have ever dreamed of. We can simulate, predict, and model what people think with more and more accuracy. The question is no longer can we, but should we? Because the risks are just profound. You could use this tech to test political messages on a simulated population over and over until they're perfectly manipulative. You could create fake grassroots campaigns that look completely real. Or worse, you could have policymakers making decisions based on a flawed simulation of what they think the public actually wants. Ultimately, the dream of a people machine isn't science fiction anymore. It's here. And the real challenge we face now isn't just building a perfect mirror of society, it's making sure that mirror doesn't start to change the very reflection it's showing us. What happens when the simulation starts to influence the reality it was built to measure? That's the question we now have to answer.